So usually these assignment videos, I try to keep it about 5 minutes long, so I'll go over them really fast. But if you need more explanation, you know that you can message me, or you could send me a WhatsApp and I could try to send you a video lecture. So without further ado, so if you go for the option A, for this one, this was going to be research intensive, mostly into your background. One of the coolest things about America and most countries is we didn't form in a bubble or a vacuum. Each nation is a collection of conquests, of migration, of trade, and how these cultures and communities kind of emerge as the dominant one or the minority one. It's all about social norms, trade, and kind of religion, holidays, and how it all kind of meshes together. Politics are always a big one. So this one is going to talk about all of those that led to modernism. I have another slide set that talks about where modernism came from. Modernism is going to be like, 1800s forward. So America will start out very colonial, very British, and then as they gain their independence, they start industrializing in the late 1800s. It's going to move towards this new type of America that we're kind of more familiar with today. So you'll see I have a baby lecture for you, and this kind of explains what I was just talking about. And then for your instructions, this is a research one, so this is going to be writing intensive, so make sure you use the rubrics for that, so you make sure you hit all the points. But for this one, you're going to kind of focus on your ancestral line. I want you to write 3 or 4 paragraphs using that expanded format I talked about in the orientation module. You need to discuss how these cultural norms, beliefs, and practices of the hardworking American dream impacted your great-grandparents. So in my situation, both lines are coming from Scotland and they're coming from England. So when they came over here in like the late 1600s, as time went on into the 1800s, how did those norms impact my cultural line? So I'd have to think of my great-great-grandparents living in Nebraska or Missouri during the late 1800s. Were they able to retain their English or Scottish roots, or was the cultural norms and beliefs of the time impacting them? So that's kind of what that one talks about. For this one, discuss how life would have been different without early capitalist America. What if we weren't a capitalist, industrial revolution society? What if we stayed more, feudalist, or what if we stayed more socialist? So how did this early industrial revolution that kind of pushed us into the business capitalist side, impact my great-grandparents' life? And then finally, this last one here, describe how different cultures dealt with this. So as my family's coming in through the top half, they're going to come in through like New York, and they're going to pass through like Ohio and Missouri and Nebraska and eventually land in California. They're kind of going that northern America route. As they pushed out west, what would have been the challenges that they would have encountered during this industrial revolution time? So you want to kind of look at 1815 to like 1910. How did that era impact your family line? Were they able to retain some of their roots? Was that like completely altered? So obviously I can't ask my great-great-grandparents what happened, but what I could speculate is if I researched 1400s, 1500s, 1600s Scotland, I kind of get an idea of what their cultural practices were like. And then as they carry those in a little basket over here, how did the 1800s America slam into that? And what was it like? So that's really all you're doing for this one. You're kind of just exploring how this industrialization impacted our family lines as they came through here. So this one, like I said, it's writing intensive, it's research intensive. This is an option, I'll be honest, not a lot of students get the opportunity to do because it's just a lot to do. It's just 4 days. So my feelings aren't hurt if you don't do it, but if you get the time, it's actually a really interesting one. So you might have to pull from the family archives and see what you have back there and how it impacted your family. Either way, I would love to read it. Remember, you could do a written one or you could talk it with a little video. So, all right, I'll see you in the next options.